So walking aids. All right, what are walking aids? Walking aids include assistive canes, commonly referred to as walking sticks, crutches, and walkers. As appropriate to the needs of the individual user, these devices help to maintain upright ambulation by providing any or all of the above: improved stability, reduced lower limb loading, and generating movement. How does this improve stability? It improves stability by increasing the base of support. So at the point where the device touches the ground and your 2 feet are the points of contact on the ground. So naturally, apart from the 2 points of contact of your feet, there are points of contact of the assistive device, which increases the base of support and improves the stability. Also, due to the walking aid, there is reduced lower limb loading. Due to this reduced lower limb loading, if there is pain or disability associated in the lower limb, it will decrease that. And it also helps in generating movement by generating force. If you are holding a cane in your hand, it helps to generate force and thereby helping in ambulation. Yes. Mechanism of action: improve stability by providing additional points of contact. The walking aid provides both additional support and a wider range of stable center of gravity positioning. Then we can also have reduced lower limb loading. Just hold on, I'm admitting people. Yeah. It is held in the hand. By directing load through the arms and the walking aid, it lowers the impact and static forces are transmitted through the affected limb. Generating movement: the walking aid and arms can substitute for the muscles and joints of the spine, pelvis, or legs in the generation of dynamic forces during walking. Okay, this is a point which I was mentioning previously, that if there is a weakness in the lower limb or weakness in the trunk, then the walking aid is going to substitute for the muscle work or the muscle work generation and hence help in ambulation. So all these 3 points are important, and if you may be asked this in the exam. Coming on to the cane. The cane is the simplest and the most easily available walking aid. It is held in the hand and transmits load to the floor through a shaft. The load which can be applied through a cane is transmitted through the user's hands and wrists and limited by these. The measurement of the cane: in standing position, elbow is flexed. Measure from the ulnar styloid to the floor approximately 15 centimeters from the heel. Okay, so now try to visualize this. The patient is in the standing position. You have to have the elbow flexed to approximately 15 to 20 degrees. And you have to measure from the ulnar styloid to the floor approximately 15 centimeters from the heel. Okay, make sure that the elbow is flexed, because that is how you will hold the cane, and that is how you should measure as well. So this is all about the canes. Now we will go on to crutches. Crutches are used to reduce weight bearing on one or both legs, to give additional support where balance is impaired or and when strength is inadequate. I guess this time's clinical assignment was also on the crutches. Can I get a feedback on this, because I have yet not corrected it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So could you all understand the video
Auxiliary
which was?
crutch.
Yes. Could you all understand the video which was displayed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So everyone has a visualization of how an auxiliary crutch looks like. All right. So we are elaborating on the same. So again, I will go back to the point why crutches are used. This is important. Crutches to reduce weight bearing on one or both legs, to give additional support where balance is impaired or when strength is inadequate. A crutch also transmits loads to the ground through a shaft, but has 2 points of contact with the arm, at the hand and either below the elbow or below the armpit. Now this is important because Depending on the point of contact, your measurements will differ. And every one of you must know how to take measurements for walking aids, because you will be prescribing walking aids to your patients. This allows significantly greater loads to be exerted through a crutch in comparison with a cane. So why is a crutch better than a cane? Because it allows greater loads to be exerted through a crutch in comparison with the cane. Okay, so the crutch is going to be taking more amount of weight than the cane. So when there is more instability, there is excessive disability, a crutch is always a better option than a cane to be used. So here is the picture which is displaying axillary crutch and elbow crutch, and there is something called as a gutter crutch. Gutter crutches you will rarely see in use nowadays, but it can be used for patients who are suffering from arthritis, especially a typical type of arthritis which is rheumatoid arthritis, because it rests the forearm and it allows more weight bearing on the hand. We are more concerned with this type of the axillary crutch, which is also commonly asked in the exams. That is why your clinical assignment also was centered around the axillary crutch. It is very, very important to know the measurement of the axillary crutch, as it can be asked for 7 marks. So you can be asked about different type of crutches, and then you can be asked to write a note on measurement of axillary crutch. Elbow crutch also could be asked, but this is more important, the axillary crutch. So moving on to axillary crutches, the design includes an axillary bar pad or a pad, a hand piece, double uprights joined distally by a single leg attached with a rubber ferrule. Okay, so we'll go back to this. So that this is your axillary bar or pad. This is the hand piece. These are the uprights. And this is the rubber ferrule. Okay, so here we have the measurement, the adjustments for the length. So you can adjust the length accordingly for the individual. They are basically adjustable in height. Both the overall height and hand grip can be adjusted. Hand grip also can be adjusted, but it doesn't have so many a times that this attachment may not be there, but this attachment is always there. Axillary crutches are adjustable approximately 48 to 60 inches, that is 12 to 153 centimeters. This is important and the number needs to be mentioned. Axillary crutches is a misnomer because they should not be placed in the axilla at all. They should actually be positioned about 5 centimeters below the axilla with the elbow flex 15 degree approximately when weight is not taken. Okay, again these numbers are very, very important when you are writing your short note. Please take a note of this. Positioned at about 5 centimeters below the axillary fold, okay, below the axilla, and 15 degrees approximately when weight is not taken. When the weight is transmitted to the arm and the hand piece, the elbow is extended. So the entire weight bearing is through the arm, okay, through the hand grip. There is no weight which is taken on the axilla. If weight is taken through the axilla, it may result in neurapraxia of the radial nerve or brachial plexus. What is neurapraxia? It is basically that your nerve may get compressed and there may be delayed transmission along the nerve course. That is called as neurapraxia. And we do not want this because due to neurapraxia, you may have some kind of weakness or some sensory impairments. So that is why the axillary crutches are designed in such a way that the force transmission is through the hand grip. Measurements of length. Now this is a commonly asked question in the exams. Please note, usually carried out with patient in line with shoes off. Measure from the apex of the axilla to the lower margin of the medial malleolus. Easy measurement and is reasonably reliable. With shoes on, usually this is done in clinical settings. 5 centimeters vertically down from the apex of the axilla to a point 20 centimeters lateral to the heel of the shoe. This is less accurate, but since usually patients are walking with the shoes on, this is the usually done method. Measurement from the axillary pad to the hand grip should be taken with the elbow slightly flexed, approximately 15 degrees, from a point 5 centimeters below the apex of the axilla to the ulnar styloid. Please note this point again, very, very important. All right, so that is all about axillary crutches. Do write the entire slide. These 2 slides have to be written if the answer or the question is for 7 marks. So note accordingly. We'll move on to elbow crutches. They are made of metal and have a metal or plastic forearm band. They are usually adjustable in length by means of a press clip or metal button and have a rubber ferrule. We will go back to the diagram or the pic. Okay, so this is how your arm will go inside and you would be holding this. That's your hand grip. Okay. It is suitable for patients with good balance and strong arms. Weight transmission is similar to axillary crutches. Okay, so it is very, very similar, but the top part is a bit different. So weight transmission here is better. Here it is not as good, but in patients who are more mobile, this becomes a better option because it is lighter also to carry around, lighter and easier to carry around. Taken with the patient in lying position with the shoes on, elbow is flexed approximately 15 degrees and measurement is taken from ulnar styloid to a point 20 centimeters lateral to the shoe. Check length once patient is standing with support. Adjustable from 29 to 35 inches or 74 to 89 centimeters. Gutta crutches, also known as adjustable arthritic crutches or forearm support crutches. They are made of metal with a padded forearm support and strap, adjustable handpiece and a rubber ferrule. Again, going back to the diagram or the pic. Okay, so here your forearm is going to be resting and there you have a band which will keep it in place. So that forearm support is usually padded and it has a strap, an adjustable handpiece and a rubber ferrule. They are used for patients with rheumatoid disease who require some form of support but cannot take weight through the hands, wrists and elbows. All right. So when there is a deformity and pain to such an extent that the fingers and hands are in no position to hold anything, then you can opt for gutta crutches. Okay, because the gutta crutches does not require holding by the hand. It just has a forearm strap which will give you a comfortable support and then you can weight bear through the forearm. It is adjustable like elbow crutches. Length of forearm support and angle of hand piece is also adjustable and measurements are customized usually and taken accordingly. So as per the patient's need and as per the patient's deformity, these can be custom made for the individuals. Measurement of length. If able to stand, it is better to assess the length in this position from elbow to the floor. So standing measurements are better and preferred over here. Measurement can be carried out with the patient lying with shoes on and is taken from the point of flexed elbow to 20 centimeters lateral. So as all of you must have noticed that in standing, it is more or less the same. 20 centimeter lateral is usually the the common thing in all of the measurements, in all of the crutch measurements. Okay. So any doubt in the crutch measurements and crutches as such? Because this is all about walking aids. Once if you've understood about this walking aid, then we can go on to walking patterns. Any questions from the students? No questions? All right. This is a walker and the tripod. These are the other walking aids which are available. You all must have seen this commonly even in hospitals. The tripod has 3 points of contact and it is like a cane, but down the base of support is more and the stability is more. And this is a quadripod. So 4 points of support. Basically what happens with a tripod and quadripod, you are increasing the base of support. But on the flip side, you also got to consider that your movement could be restricted because this can come in the way when you are walking. So if you really want to walk fast, then the cane is always a better option. But this requires more stability and of course the weight may also slightly increase.